Hi everyone, my name is Sahana and I'm here on behalf of the Kernel Network research team to speak with the authors of a paper that was just published in the Gerontologist. The title of the paper is An Account of Personal Autonomy for People Living with Dementia. By the way, congratulations Andy, Erin, and Avery for publishing such great work. This was a phenomenal research paper.
Thank you so much, Sahana. We're really excited to have those results out there.
Yeah, so let's dive right in. What exactly is a paper about?
Yeah, I can answer that. So what we do is we are providing a conceptual framework or a concept map of personal autonomy, but specifically around supporting and studying the lived experience of persons living with dementia.
Right, so why is a concept map of personal autonomy for people living with dementia needed?
Yeah, so we find it was probably needed because the fact is a lot of definitions out there of autonomy. There's like so many out there. Autonomy can mean a lot of different things to a lot of different people, and we wanted to have like a concrete term definition of personal autonomy when kind of describing and looking at that phenomena.
Yeah, a lot of people, when they're studying personal autonomy in people with dementia, they're not very clear about what they mean by it. And if different researchers are meaning different things by a term, it's really hard to compare the findings of their research or draw general conclusions from it. So that means that we wouldn't be able to use the research in coming up with practical strategies to support people who are living with dementia and to support their personal autonomy.
So you guys mentioned a framework. How exactly did you guys come up with this framework?
Well, the first thing that we did is we looked at the philosophical literature, at what philosophers who theorize about personal autonomy say about it. There's actually a ton of stuff written about that over many decades. And we tried to sort of boil it down to the consensus of what people agree on. There's a lot of different disputed points. People go back and forth, but we focused on what people agree on.
Right, so what do theorists of personal autonomy generally agree on? What are the main outlines of your framework?
Yeah, so personal autonomy is doing what you truly want to do, right? So what we do is we break it down into these three components, really four, but we can talk about that later. But those three being, first, decisional autonomy, right? So this is the ability to think through like an important decision and actually be able to make that decision, right? So go through with that process. The second being authenticity. So you can make decisions, right? But the thing is, that decision has to also be free of coercion, free of constraints or anything that might like limit your ability to make a decision that would reflect what you truly want to do, right? Like your core principles and values. And then the third being executional autonomy. So that's the ability to make like change in the world around you. So once you've made this truly authentic decision, being able to actually carry out the steps to enact that. So pretty much personal autonomy, we say, has to have all three of those aspects: decisional and executional autonomy, as well as that authenticity part.
Okay, so Erin, I want to ask you a question. Someone might wonder whether people living with dementia still have all these abilities to make and carry out decisions that reflect who they really are. But don't people lose their personal autonomy when they start to lose the capacity to think as clearly or to do everything that is needed to make what they want happen?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And it's something that comes up a lot, not only in the literature, but also for people working directly with people with dementia. And so that's why we wanted to look not only at the philosophy aspect, which is important, but also at the lived experience of people living with dementia. And so based on that empirical research, we found that even in moderate to severe stages, personal autonomy can still be maintained, with an important caveat that the social and relational supports are in place. And so that brings us to the fourth aspect of the framework that Avery kind of hinted at, which is the context that autonomy is practiced in. So like the social and relational context. And we want to demonstrate with our paper that even if individual capacities are diminished, the relational supports can help bolster autonomy for as long as possible.
Yeah, well, that sounds like a hopeful conclusion. And I guess if our viewers want to know more information, they'll just have to read the paper. But you can find the paper on Gerontologist. Thank you guys again for taking the time to talk about this. It was really insightful. That's all the time we have.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.